All right, here we go. Betting Weekly Live here with you on a Wednesday. Mike Carver along with Doug Kezirian as we get you ready for all of tonight's action. We got a couple baseball games. We got NBA. We've got NHL. The Crown, college basketball tonight as well. We've got, of course, the PGA with the Valero starting tomorrow. So a very, very busy Wednesday for us. And Chris Macero is going to join us in a couple minutes. We got his picks for the Final Four as well. Doug, good to see you. Happy Wednesday.
Good to be with you. Happy hump day to you as well. A lot of day action that we discussed on yesterday's show going on the Diamond. We have a couple games coming up like momentarily. And then this evening, like you mentioned, we got some random basketball tournaments, including women's NIT. If you can find me a point spread, I'll have a play for you. But in general, a lot of fun stuff going on this time of year, and the weather's changing, obviously.
And what an awful job by me forgetting the women's NIT was going on tonight. I will tell you, before we bring Chris in, let's get the baseball going really fast. We have finals. Braves beat the A's 5-1 behind Sale this afternoon in Atlanta. Orioles 8-3 over the Rangers. Pirates beat the Reds today. O'Neal Cruz had another homer. Good thing he can homer because he can't play defense. Marlins shut out the White Sox 10-0. And I think they had, Doug, in that game, what do they call it? A Maddox complete game shutout under 100 pitches? A Maddox for Alcantara today?
Is that what I've never heard that? That's great.
They call it a Maddox. How about the Nationals? Are they good? You asked that yesterday or the day before. They're beating the Phillies 5-3 in the ninth. The Phillies got runners on, though. 2 on.
Yeah, I mean, Sanchez, he got through it, but he was not sharp at all. He had a good first inning and then just labored. Just wasn't his normal self. 4 walks and 5 1/3. Did have 7 strikeouts because, the Nats chased some stuff, but a lot of ducks on the pond throughout the game, and he got out of some action. But the offense didn't do anything. Schwarber hits one that rolls to the wall. He makes the first out at third, which was so stupid. And obviously that, stumped or stymied the whole rally, but just couldn't get there with the first 5 half run. And but they are mounting a comeback, so I'll give them that.
They are trying to. They're going to extras in Toronto. As for the second time this week, the Blue Jays are having problems as a big favorite against the Rockies at home. The Mets got a Juan Soto homer, but the Cardinals just tied it at 1 as they're in the top of the 7th. Rays and Brewers are tied at 2 in the bottom of the 8th. The Red Sox tough start continues, even with Crochet going today. 5-2 Astros as they go to the bottom of the 7th. 5-1 Cubs lead the Angels at Wrigley. And the Diamondbacks got a Corbin Carroll homer off of Skubal in the bottom of the first inning, and they lead the Tigers 1-0. So Skubal uncharacteristically, Doug, down 1-0 here early.
Today's been weird. Crochet's been getting touched up in Houston. Had an unearned run, but still not been sharp at all. I mentioned Sanchez. So some of these aces, which was, the theme of today, for the most part, second start for a lot of aces, just it hasn't been the usual predictive dominance, which that's baseball, right?
That's baseball. That is how it goes sometimes. All right, so we're going to keep our eye on all this baseball action. We do have a couple games tonight, which we'll discuss in a little bit as well. But let's get Chris Macero in. Of course, Pro Better's with us all the time here on Betting Weekly Live as we get ready for the Final Four this weekend in Indianapolis with Illinois, UConn, Michigan, and Arizona. And we should probably get right to the hoops because I'm sure that Macero doesn't want to talk about Crochet and the Red Sox potentially staring 1-5 in the face this afternoon. I'm sure Chris doesn't want to hear about that.
The Red Sox lineup is minor league right now. It's Roman Anthony's in a big slump. And when he's not hitting and at least not getting on base, they have trouble scoring runs. They're anemic at the moment. There's been some stats that Crochet hasn't been great against Houston. And that's continuing again today, losing again. And with that lineup and lack of hitting, there's really no chance that they're going to make a comeback. So I think you're right, 1-5. And you guys made me laugh leading up to this segment when you said that's baseball. That's got to be one of the greatest lines ever uttered in a baseball booth. That's baseball, Susan. And
Susan.
It still makes me laugh to this day just thinking about it. But let's talk some basketball. I'd love to get Doug's insight on the women's NIT. The fact that there's actually other teams besides the teams in the actual women's tournament that could potentially be worse than some of the teams that we watched. That is eye-opening to me. And to put them in another tournament, my God, is that on TV?
Chris, it's ESPN2 tonight, the women's BIT. So there's the NIT, and then there's another tournament because the field of 64 is not enough. We need other fields as well.
Come on.
What's crazy is I've actually watched this team. It's BYU. So they're actually, I mean, they're respectable, 26-11, coached by Luke Kennard. Sorry, not Luke Kennard, Kennard, the old BYU player. On the men's side, he played with Jimmer Fredette and everything. But he's the coach, and they shockingly chuck a lot of threes because that's all he did in his college career. So I've actually watched this team. So, I mean, it is the championship game. So these were the bubble teams, I would say, that didn't make the big dance. And then Columbia, the Fighting Lions of the Ivy League are playing. We like BYU, by the way.
Wow. I thought Luke Kennard was off the bench for the Lakers. I didn't realize he was coaching women's hoops at the same time.
They're essentially the same person, Luke Kennard and then Luke Kennard.
Well, we don't have any bubble teams, Chris, in Indianapolis this weekend. That we do not have as we get ready for the Final Four. I mentioned to you who's going to be there. I guess quickly, Chris, give me like a little round. Do you have what's still alive for you future-wise before we get into the nuts and bolts with the spreads and the totals, et cetera, with the games this weekend?
Okay, cool. Last week on the show, I said that I lost Florida, which was my biggest future. I was leaning, obviously, to Michigan and Arizona as my second and third best, but I wanted to fill a team or fill a need for the South bracket. I advised going in on Illinois. I was able to find plus 16. I think we were at maybe 15 to 1, but I was at plus 1600. I was able to got in on. I really thought that they were going to beat Houston, which they did. It was a little touch and go there with Iowa for a second, but we got the job done. And now I'm sitting on that pretty nice ticket, 16. I think I'm at like plus 1610 total of my bets. I have Illinois, and then I have Michigan and Arizona. Doesn't really matter which one wins for me. I have so many different future parlays tied to either one winning. I was lucky enough to get some Final Four parlays already in with Arizona, Michigan, and I did have one on UConn. I do not have anything on UConn to win the whole thing. So definitely not rooting for UConn in any which way. People are saying you hedge, you do this. I'm tossing it around with a few different people this week on what the best way to play it is. And I'm just not sure if I want to waste a hedge on UConn because I just don't think they're that good a team. I think the three best teams are left: Illinois, Arizona, Michigan. Michigan, I mean, the Big Ten had, 6 teams in the Sweet 16. I think that's obviously the best league this year. You have the two of the best teams left. Michigan's been fantastic all year. Illinois is really catching their stride late. So I think those are the two of the best teams left, obviously two of the best teams in the country. And then Arizona, what have they done wrong all year? They only lost 2 games, and they were in the same week when Koa Pete was out. So with Koa Pete, they've lost no games. They're just playing great. They got over the hump, first time back in the Final Four since 2001. There is the controversy with Tommy Lloyd, with all this pressure that he might be going to North Carolina. I just don't see it. I don't know why he's a West Coast guy. Why is he got? I guess it could be for the money. Maybe he's trying to leverage a bigger deal with Arizona, which I heard is also in the works. So it's just exciting. I'm happy that we all wish it could be Michigan versus Arizona as the final game. But hey, you know what? This Illinois team is really good. They got some huge wins this year. They can beat anyone. And I like the way they're playing. Another coach that got over the hump. We've talked about on this show a bunch about Underwood. Drives you nuts sometimes. But hey, he got over the hump. And hey, if anyone has really modified his, maybe not coaching style, but he's got all these foreign guys on his team playing great. I saw an interview with him yesterday, said it's the most exciting he's had coaching a team, the most fun he's had coaching a team. And he said they've never had a bad practice because all the guys are about the team, not about individuals. So I like to hear that going into the Final Four.
Certainly do as we get ready here. And let's not forget about UConn, Chris, and we will start there first against Illinois on Saturday because, yes, I know that we've got Michigan and Arizona and everybody kind of thinks, the winner of that's going to win the title. UConn's going to have something to say about that. They're getting 1.5 in the first game on Saturday night. 139.5 is the total for the Huskies and the Illini.
Okay, this is how I'm looking at this game. I think Illinois, as I just previously mentioned, I think they're a better team. When I made the line before the line came out, I thought it'd be 4.5. Sure enough, Ken Palm had it at a 4-point game. I'm thinking one of the couple of reasons why I think the line is a little bit depressed here. And it's one, obviously, Bobby Hurley. He's covered, 17 out of his last 18 tournament games. Two, the UConn factor. They've won 2 of the last 3 national championships. If they won 3 and 4, that'd be completely ridiculous. But I think, can you sustain a high of that huge comeback and roll it into another situation where you're going to go up against a really tough team, Illinois, that's playing great? You have double revenge for Illinois. They lost earlier this year at Madison Square Garden, a de facto home game for UConn. In that game, Illinois shot terrible from 3. I think they were 6 for 29, below 20% from 3. Wagler had only played 12 minutes, and Avicevic, I believe, was injured for that game, or Merkovic was injured for that game. One of the two was either sick, one or the other one was injured, and Wagler only played 12 minutes. So it's a totally different team. They're not going to be playing at MSG. I just think I don't want to hedge this thing because I want to bet more on Illinois. I think they're the right side. And another factor I heard, I'm not sure where Bet Rivers sits with it, but multiple sports books I've heard over this past week have UConn as a major, major loss to them in the future market. I've heard that Michigan and Arizona are basically big wins for the books. Illinois is a toss-up, but UConn is a major loser. So the way I look at it, they're not going to look for any more UConn money. So they're going to give you a little bit lower line, a little bit lower number. The public is going to be all over UConn. It's going to be a very public dog. I think you can get a good money line price if you just wait a little bit longer to fire on Illinois. I like this team. I mean, like I mentioned, Avicevic, Merkovic, Stojakovic. I mean, Stojakovic was coming off the bench, starting some games. When he's on the court, such a heady, smart player. Not like his dad should. I'm not saying his dad wasn't heady and smart, but his dad was just a three-point demon. This kid gets to the rack. He's explosive in the paint. He makes the right decision all the time. And I just really don't think the way UConn's been playing, they can get away with it. Their last 6 games, their three-point shooting versus Duke, we all saw 1 of 18. They finished 4 or 5, but 22%. Michigan State, they shot okay, 43%. UCLA, only 33%. Furman, 20%. St. John's back in the tournament, 16%. Georgetown, 32%. They are not shooting well. I think the three-point shooting, the 1 of 18, or what they finished was 4 for 23. That is more the norm than the aberration. They're not a good three-point shooting team. They're not going to be getting rebounds against Illinois, who's top 3 in rebounding and number 1 in offense. And another thing, Illinois shoots the free throw tremendously, 16th in the country, 78%. I like Illinois in this game. I think they're just the better team. Obviously, Hurley has the coaching advantage, but I'm going to be on Illinois.
Chris, I'm in no rush to bet on UConn, but to play devil's advocate with this Illinois team, you know, they stumbled a little bit down the stretch as well. I think split their last 10 games, something like that, albeit in the talented Big Ten. But you mentioned they're finding their groove. I guess my pushback would be, are they, or did they just kind of catch a break with the bracket? Houston, good win, but also as much as the Illini defense did some good things, like the Cougars missed a lot of shots. It was pretty embarrassing. They had 26 points with 10 minutes to go in the game, and then they had to go through Iowa and not Florida. So we still haven't seen Underwood actually coach a close game and win, because those were like 15-point games with 2 minutes to go, not 4-point games down the stretch. Again, I'm not saying the Huskies are the right side, and I'm not playing it, but I do think we're still not. I don't think that we've totally have a lot of proof on the Illini and Underwood yet.
Well, I mean, you could say they stumbled a little bit down the stretch. They lost at Michigan State, at UCLA. They lost to Michigan, and they lost to Wisconsin. Lost to Wisconsin twice in overtime, which is like a little weird thing. But listen, this Illinois team can score. They've only been held under 70 points only once all year. In the tournament, it's been a little bit different. You know, they scored 71 the other day, only 65 against Houston. Both teams didn't shoot the ball that well. But listen, that game was wasn't at Houston's actual arena, but it was in Houston. That's a tough place to play. They were underdog in the game. They've won and covered all 4 games in the tournament. We're in the betting business where the spread matters. They've won and they've covered all 4 games. So it's not like they've just been eking by. To your point, it might be a little hairy thinking about Underwood in a close game, but I like the fact that you got some veteran leaders, older players, 23, 22, 21-year-old players, guys that shoot the free throw well. They don't turn it over a lot. and they can score outside, they can score inside, and they're really good on the offensive rebounds, number 3 in offensive rebound percentage in the country. I just don't see where UConn's going to be able to score down low against the bigs that they have. We all know they're not shooting the 3 well. Granted, if UConn comes out and shoots it 50% from 3, they're probably going to win. But I just don't see that happening. I really like this Illinois team. I like the veteran presence. I like the fact they shoot the free throws well. And I just like the older attributes of the older players. It's kind of like, they're just in this cool group because they're all the foreign guys all on one team. I just think it might be Illinois' time to get back to the final game, and we'll see if maybe it'll be a Big Ten final, and one of the Big Ten teams will finally win because it hasn't happened since 2000. Mateen Cleaves and Izzo with Michigan State, or maybe Arizona gets there. Hasn't been a team since Miles Simon won it. West of the Mississippi, that a team from the western side of the United States has won it either. So we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely going to be on Illinois in this game.
Well, let's get to this heavy hitter game in the second game now, Chris, because we do have Michigan and Arizona, 2 teams that were both ranked in the top 3 or 4 basically the entire season. I mean, they went wire to wire being up there on the top of the rankings. Michigan minus 1.5 here, and 157.5 now the total at Bet Rivers.
Yeah, I don't have a bet on this game. It's one of those games where you could see it going obviously either way. Both teams are so evenly matched. And one of the things is that each team usually uses as their strength is their front line, their bigs. They're going to be able to dominate most teams down low on the glass, points in the paint. Well, look what we have here. We have the 2 Goliaths battling together where neither team's going to have that advantage down low. So you would think maybe edge towards Michigan because they shoot the 3 a lot more prevalent than Arizona does. Arizona doesn't really use the 3 as much of a weapon, although when they do shoot it, they're not bad at shooting it. They just don't get many of their percentage of their points from the 3-point shot. And Michigan does. Michigan shoots at top 25 in the country in 3-point shooting. And I think when Michigan is playing their A game, like that stretch against Tennessee on Sunday, no one is stopping them. They look unbelievable. They go on like a 30-3 run against Tennessee, and you blink and the game's over. The one question I have with Michigan has been the turnovers all year. I'll give credit to Cadeau. In this tournament, he's only turned it over 7 times. So that's a major improvement over what he was doing during the season. But on the flip side, I want to give the edge in the backcourt definitely to Jared Bradley and Burries. You got the senior Layden Bradley, and then you got the star freshman in Burries. It's a dynamic duo. It's like a situation with Duke the other day. They didn't have the point guard to get the ball in bounds and to take care of the ball before the fouling. They end up turning it over. I don't think that's going to be a situation in the Arizona backcourt. So we got to give the edge to the backcourt to Arizona. You got Mara, you got Luxembourg, you got Cadeau. You have a lot of great strong players on Michigan. You get the number 1 defense in Michigan versus the number 2 defense in Arizona. You get the number 5 offense in Michigan versus the number 4 offense in Arizona. This might be just a live betting type of game. Maybe you get one team gets off to a 10-2 lead. Maybe you come back with the other side plus 3.5. Try to get both ways. I just really can't. I mean, you can't really tell me with a strong case that one of these teams is definitely going to win. I just can't. I can't make the case for that. So I'm just going to probably sit it out. I do have the futures. I'm going to see how it plays out in game. Maybe try to take back both ways because it's just such a great battle. And like we said, we wish it was the national championship, but don't sleep on Illinois. And of course, if UConn gets there, they're going to be the public favorite to see if they can do it 3 times in 4 years.
Chris, I know the coaching matchup is interesting to me. Tommy Lloyd certainly had his critics, but this is also his deepest team and best defensive team. Now, Dusty May is excellent, but there's 2 kind of things of coaching. There's like in-game sort of coaching, and then there's just kind of steering a program, implementing an offense, things like that. Do you think with the actual game itself that either coach has an edge, or does that factor into your handicap here?
I would say Dusty May definitely has the edge. I was getting a little perturbed with Tommy Lloyd the other day. He kept watching Braden Smith just walk the ball up the court, get Purdue into their sets, and be efficient on offense. And that's what they do. He didn't really switch it up at all. I wish I saw a little bit more pressure in the front court just a little bit to disrupt the rhythm of the game. If you just have one of the best point guards, ended up being the NCAA all-time assist leader, just walk it up, run their sets, get the ball to Kaufman-Wren, get the ball to the three-point shooters, get the ball back in the high pick and roll. It's a lot easier for Purdue to score. I just thought there should have been a little bit something changed up defensively for Tommy Lloyd. But again, they have so many good players. There's probably three, definitely maybe four NBA players on the court for Arizona at all times. It's a really tough matchup for most teams. It's just very interesting that both teams have so many bigs. This is really a heavyweight battle. I would give the edge to Dusty May. He's made the runs before. This is obviously Tommy Lloyd's first Final Four. I don't want to criticize him too much. He got a lot of flack. He's only been in Arizona for what? This is his 5th year there. If you go back in history, you watch all these other coaches. Roy Williams can't do it. Bill Self can't do it. It takes some time. You got to get there. You got to have a little bit of experience, and you will see what happens. This game is going to be fantastic.
So it sounds like, Chris, to recap here, you're rooting for Illinois to cut down the nets on Monday night, but you think the winner of Michigan-Arizona is going to win on Monday night. That's kind of what it sounds like to me.
I wouldn't. It's almost like the time value of money. Would you like to get the future payoff right now with Illinois and just go to the window on Monday night and retrieve the thousands of dollars?
Yeah.
Or would you like to potentially see what's behind door number 2 with all the future parlays that you have with Arizona and Michigan, which are valued at more, but no guarantee to hit. So there's a lot on the line. I'm in a good spot. We just got to get those UConn Huskies out of the way.
Before we
Side note, I want to congratulate Boston College for finally doing something intelligent and hiring the new coach, Luke Murray, Bill Murray's son, the assistant coach at UConn, the guy who devises their offense. He had an amazing press conference yesterday, intelligent answers, just really smart basketball guy, smart person, and there's a glimmer at hope at the Heights for Boston College.
The best news out of all of that, Chris, is now when we watch UConn tournament games, they're not going to show Bill Murray 600 times in the stands. That is the good part about his kid now getting the job at Boston College. Hopefully Boston College gets in the tournament for you a few times, and then we can see him in the crowd at those games. Before you go, we do have games tonight in men's college basketball. The Crown at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Vegas tonight. Oklahoma and Colorado, big number for the Sooners, 9.5, and Baylor, Minnesota, Baylor -3.5. You got anything in the Crown here, Chris?
Well, I attended a few Crown games last year, and when I say only friends and family were invited, it was only family. There wasn't even friends. And there was basically the only people at the game were sitting in the front row on the wood. There was nobody in the stand. So if you want to go to the game tonight, you'll see me there. I will be in attendance. There won't be many people there. So if you cheer loudly, you might be able to be heard on TV. I will break down the 2 games very quickly. Colorado has 3 opt-outs. Sebastian Rancic, Isaiah Johnson, and Barrington Hargress. See you later. They decided to get into the transfer portal. Sebastian Rancic was a super sophomore, and Isaiah Johnson was their star freshman. It's a big loss for this Colorado team, very depleted. Oklahoma's bringing all 5 starters, so they have a major roster advantage, including 24-year-old Nigel Pack, who was in the Final Four with Miami in 2023. It's his 6th year. He was at K-State, Miami, and now at Oklahoma. So he's the gift that keeps on giving. I don't know if I lay the 9. I played a bunch of parlays closing to Oklahoma money line. I think it's one of those free squares, but who knows? We'll see what happens. We don't know what these kids have been doing for 17 days. Hopefully they weren't hitting the strip last night in Vegas. The other game, Baylor versus Minnesota. Talk about teams limping to the finish line. Baylor finished with losses 7 of their last 10. Minnesota lost 12 of their last 17 games. So somehow they got invited to this tournament. Minnesota only has 3 road wins all year and only 1 neutral site win. So maybe you look for Baylor. There's one question I have in this game. It's a pace question. Minnesota plays a really slow pace. Are they really going to do that same slow, methodical 361 pace for the year on their last game of the year in the Crown Tournament? Or are they going to loosen it up a little bit? I would tend to look for an over here. Baylor likes to play fast, top 25 in offense, top 30 in pace. And, they don't have a good defense. They're 132nd in Ken Palm on D. I think this might be an over game. Maybe Minnesota gets out of their shell a little bit. They're in Vegas. They're not going to walk it up the court. Let's try to press the pace a little bit, show what you got, and maybe we go over and bail at Minnesota.
I did see Daryl at the bottom asked, he wanted some crown picks for you, which you gave. I mean, geez, Illinois State, Auburn, and New Mexico, Tulsa in the NIT tomorrow night, Chris, too. I knew Daryl wanted a pick from you on those.
Are we all still rooting against Auburn? It feels like they're on a little bit of a mission here. They're just going to cut down the nets in NIT.
We're a Mountain West show here, Chris. We're rooting for the Lobos at the Hinkle tomorrow night. We are a New Mexico crew here for the Mountain West, right, Doug?
What's going to have more people, the Crown tonight or the Women's NIT Championship game?
I'm going to go with the women's. The women's game is a minus 185 favorite.
Illinois State trying to do the double here. They're in the women's and the men's NIT semifinals. How about that? The Redbirds.
I like that. One thing I don't like about women's basketball, well, there's a lot, but one is some schools using the lady in their mascot, the Lady Lions, the Lady Tigers, and then other schools hate it. Like UConn hates it. So just make up your mind. Come on.
Make up your mind, indeed. Chris, tremendous job. Enjoy you and several others at the MGM Grand Garden Arena tonight for the Crown. And good luck this weekend at the Final Four.
I will send you a picture on X,
Please.
and you will be able to enjoy the sparse open seating and pick wherever you want to sit, get a pretzel, and enjoy yourself.
Trust me, when you send me that picture later, I'm going to be putting the kids to bed. I'm going to wish I was there with you. Okay? So enjoy the games tonight at the MGM. Chris Macero with us here on Betting Weekly Live, as always. There you go, Doug. I guess before I move on, Doug, you got anything in the crowd tonight? You want to get involved in the crowd?
No, I mean, look, Macero's he's steering me in the right direction towards the Sooners, right? Porter Moser's coming back,
This is
a lot of good
got,
vibes there, Norman.
And it's so weird. Now, look, we know this is like a huge money thing. That's all the Crown is. It's about money. It's about it's an NIL.
It's about gambling.
I mean, 4 of the 8 teams that are there, 4 of them are 500 or worse. And yet all those teams are playing each other. Baylor's 500 playing under 500 Minnesota. And then Creighton and Rutgers tomorrow night are both well under 500. And they're playing each other.
I mean, going under 500 in the SEC is fine. Like, I think that's fine. Like, Oklahoma I thought should have been in the tournament. I didn't think SMU should have.
Oklahoma is, I think, out of these 8 teams, they are by far and away the best of these 8 teams.
And the reason I thought they should have been is how they closed the season. The question is, like Chris was alluding to, are we getting that version of them? There's Vegas, as someone who's bet the Las Vegas Bowl and first moved here in 2005, I certainly know of whether it's Osweiler out the night before for Arizona State. There's so many bowl legendary betting stories from this game. I think it's only a matter of time till the Crown is basically a bowl game, right?
Right.
So we just have to factor that in. But if you told me both teams at max, I'm definitely hammering Sooners.
We shall see. The Crown gets underway in Las Vegas tonight here. Of course, if you like what you see here on Betting Weekly Live, make sure you subscribe to the Betting Weekly Studios channel on YouTube. You can check us out and all of our other shows, including released earlier today, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. Nigel Seeley and Sean Calvert preview round of 16 action at ATP Houston, Bucharest, and Marrakech. Maybe I didn't butcher that one, Doug. Marrakech. Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. Nigel and Sean have got you right there. They have been red hot with the tennis. So make sure you get involved on the channel. Marrakech, Doug. Did I butcher it? Yes or no? Do you know if I butchered Marrakech?
No idea.
There you go. They see that happens from time to time. All right, baseball. I will tell you the Rockies beat the Blue Jays again. How about that? Rockies take 2 out of 3.
Rockies, Nats. We're not going to take this criticism anymore.
How about that? The Red Sox trying to claw back. They got a Wilyer Abreu homer. Really upset I didn't play him today because he's been smoking the ball. Everything else, still 1-0 Diamondbacks. The Padres have a 1-0 lead over the Giants now. And the Yankees looking to try and finish off this road trip on the West Coast, 5-1, have a 1-0 lead in Seattle over the Mariners in the very early going there. But we do have, Doug.
Hold on. How about the Phillies? Phillies come back and walk it off.
Did they? I missed that. Whoa. So now look, we were looking for first 5 with Sanchez, but still that
got there. No sweat, right?
For the way that the Phillies kind of first week is gone, Doug, that's a pretty big boost for them to get a walk-off win against. I know you should, like, the first week of the season, whatever, walk-off win for the Fighting Phils. They didn't have the best week. To get to 3-3 with a walk-off win kind of makes you feel a little bit better, I guess, leaving a series with the Nationals. So nice job by the Phillies.
Yeah. And then, as much as the Nats are showing life and the Rockies today, the White Sox went back to their losing ways. 10-0 losers. So
10-0 there. And the Marlins 5-1. Nice to have the Rockies and White Sox in your building to start.
Asterisk.
They will be at Yankee Stadium Friday afternoon for the Yankees home opener, the Marlins. So a little bit of a step up for them after a good start that they had there. But we do have, Doug, 2 other games tonight that we have to get to. Only 2 night games in baseball. We'll go to Kansas City at Kauffman, where the Twins and the Royals get together. Joe Ryan and Noah Cameron is the pitching matchup tonight. And I got the Twins right now at Bet Rivers as a slight favorite, -114, Royals -108, and a flat 8 total.
So, look, I think the kiss of death for all bettors is to kind of react to what you last saw. That also goes for what I'm about to say, so take it with a grain of salt. But Joe Ryan came back to earth last year, but he was great, all things considered, the first couple months of the season. And maybe he's just a good starter. Same with Noah Cameron. So I actually like this pitching matchup. I don't think much of the Twins offense either. So I'm on the first 5 under and the game under. I think it's a really kind of good angle. I think Cameron is more reliable. Kind of, we were talking about Bubic yesterday, so I'm not as worried. I think Ryan's going to be fine. Like, he was great in the opener against the Orioles. It's not like the Orioles or the Rockies or something, and I don't see why he can't be somewhat effective today, given how he started last season. It wasn't, maybe some of these guys are just good, starters. Others are slow starters. We know this about certain pitchers. I'm kind of blanking on the name. It's not Glasnow or Snell. I think it's maybe Blake Snell was a really bad, slow starter to a season. Yeah. He was great down the stretch. So it is what it is, right? Everyone has their sort of method to the madness and whatnot. So I think there's line value here. I really do.
There you go. First 5 is 3.5. Twins -127, Royals -106. And look, it is a good night weather-wise for hitting. And I was telling you the other day about the walls being moved in and the homers. But remember this, Doug. There were 3 homers hitting that game on opening day. The game was still a dead under. The final was 3-1.
Okay, good.
So I don't think that necessarily correlates to automatic maybe overs every single night. But if you do like the long balls, they did get 3 homers out of there on Monday in Kauffman. So Joe Ryan is a fly ball guy. But I don't think that goes against what you're saying here in terms of these 2 guys coming out and getting an under here this evening, especially in the first 5 right out of the gate. So Twins and Royals tonight. In the AL Central. And then speaking of the AL Central, the Guardians, Doug, in Los Angeles against the Dodgers tonight, -275 for the Dodgers tonight. I believe this is a Yamamoto night as he will be going. Gavin Williams goes for the Guards here. Of course, Ohtani last night, outstanding again, both on the mound. Flat 8 is the total here with this big number for LA.
Yeah, Ohtani was outstanding. Everything was moving and pinpoint accuracy. And Edwin Diaz made things a little interesting, but we got home. We got home. I want to isolate the Guardians. I think Yamamoto's lights out. He had a couple hiccups early in his debut, but I think the D-backs lineup's pretty good. A lot will depend on Arenado, but I think the D-backs lineup is pretty solid, and I just don't want to have to bet against this Dodgers lineup against a guy like Gavin Williams who could be anything. So I'd rather just do the team total under. Now, it's a little risky because sometimes you can win a 6-5 slugfest and all that stuff. But I think that's the way to go. 2.5's real low. It's real low, but let's say they don't score in the first inning. All of a sudden, you're sitting pretty. Now you have to get through the top of the order, and this Guardians lineup's nothing special.
No, they certainly are not. Their Guardians team total 2.5 there in the early going. I like a homer here tonight. This is my homer today, Doug, and that is Freddie Freeman. Now, I'll give you as much of the analytical jargon as I can here. He's plus 440 at Bet Rivers. Of all the guys in like the top 10, 15 so far the first week of the season in terms of hardest hit balls, barrels, all the exit velo analytical stuff, Freddie Freeman has the most of all of those without a homer so far. Him and Christian Walker of the Astros, who I've been tracking as well.
Well, Freeman went to the wall the
Yes.
last time you had him in this
Yes.
prop, and he's obviously been in a groove.
I laid off him for a few days after that one because I go to him once, I sit it out, but the numbers aren't lying. He's hitting the ball hard. And Gavin Williams, good pitcher, but he's a fly ball pitcher as well. I am going back to Freeman tonight. It's coming, man. He is smoking it, and it's going to get over the wall. Plus 440 for him tonight.
All right, let's do it.
Let's go. And baseball tomorrow, there's only a few games, Doug, so I think everything's at night for us on Thursday. I'm going to double check that because they already they canceled the opening day in Chicago for the White Sox already. So they already pushed them back to Friday. We do have an afternoon game tomorrow. Royals and Twins are in the afternoon tomorrow, Doug. We do get one.
Do some Christmas shopping or something. That's not really a matchup we need to watch.
No, it's not. But Braves Diamondbacks tomorrow night. We'll talk about that tomorrow here on Betting Weekly Live. All right, NBA. We got 9 games tonight. Let's go. And we will start, of course, ESPN with the doubleheader this evening. And the first game is the Celtics at the Heat. Of course, the Celtics here heading into Miami right now at Bet Rivers. I believe we still have, throw that up for me, gentlemen, when you get a chance. -5 for the Celtics, 229.5 the total.
So eventually Miami's going to flip the switch, right? We all think that Heat culture, everything. I'm starting to worry a little bit about that. But again, you can't count them out. They've proven us wrong. They've gone to the finals when we didn't think they could. So I'm going to keep sort of not expecting much from them until I'm proven otherwise. And I think when you can get a chance to bet on the Celtics in this spot and being so well coached and all that good stuff off a loss, I think you do it. I'm not worried about the Miami flu or anything like that. So Celtics it is. For me, it's a big number, right? Like it's not a insignificant number for sure. But I think the Celtics are that good with the variance, and Miami just too unreliable. Maybe wait live wagering because the Heat are so good in the first quarter. Maybe you wait and then drop the hammer. I know when these teams played last or a while ago, it was I think the Celtics had like 40 points in the first half, something ridiculous. It was like 1 of 18 from 3 or something insane. But I think we're going to see an up and down game, and then I just trust the volume of possessions to be in the favor of the Celtics.
Celtics -5 tonight. That's the ESPN game just after 7:30 East is the tip there. The late night game, the Spurs in San Francisco against the Warriors, Golden State, 227.5 the total, and 2 tutties for the Spurs here, Doug, 14.
Well, the overnight line was 11.5. Safe to say I liked that line better, but I'm still on the Spurs here. Golden State's fine. They put forth a lot of effort, and when these teams played last, Spurs won by 12 or so, but it was really because they outscored Golden State by 12 at Chase Center in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was like a tight game going in, but Horford played that game. I just think it's a really tough matchup for Golden State. Usually Porzingis is such a competitive advantage. 7'4" can stretch the defense and everything, but guess who the Spurs have? It's Wemby. And I also think the Spurs figured some stuff out in that fourth quarter that I think they can carry over. And they're on a warpath. I believe they're 25-2 in their last 27 games. Yep. 2.5 games back of the Thunder for the best record overall and the 1 seed out west. Golden State's nice. They do some things. But like the Nuggets outscored them by 20 in the third quarter the other night after they were down at halftime. So when the team tries, the Warriors just can't hang. I mean, you can only do so much with Santos and Post and Melton and Pods and Cryer. It's like, okay. But the Spurs have so much shooting around Wemby. It's just a different animal. And I don't think much of Porzingis' defense on Wemby. So I do think they cover this. It's not my best bet, but I want no part of the home dog here.
Yeah, only 2 losses I think I saw today since February 1st for the Spurs. I think that's the stretch.
They're a wagon.
And I've seen this narrative thrown around today. I know you usually love stuff like this. Spurs national TV with the Wemby MVP stuff. Is this a night on ESPN where Wemby goes off? Should we be playing some Wemby stuff?
So I don't know if the national TV thing matters that much because, with access now with TV packages and everything and then highlights, I think Wemby, I took that narrative was when Wemby had those comments saying defense is 50%. And I've we've handled the Thunder. That next game, shockingly, he showed up. I think that's stuff to pay attention to.
Okay.
But they're seemingly on a warpath a lot lately. Now, they kind of dogged it in the second half against the Spurs the other night. Sorry, against the Bulls. So I think they'll be good to go here. Now, I'm not laying first quarter, first half, but I think eventually they pull away.
There you go for tonight. Spurs and the Warriors, second game on ESPN. Let's go next to Memphis. Knicks and the Grizzlies tonight. We get another big spread here, 14.5 for the Knicks, who, of course, last night, second night of a back-to-back for the Knicks, they lost in Houston against the Rockets, and then you had Josh Hart after the game. There's something wrong with us right now, et cetera, et cetera. 226.5 is the total.
So these games are interesting. Now, it's first, you got to check the injury report with the back-to-back. So we know Landry Shamet might be back for the Knickerbockers, but questionable is Brunson. That is a factor. But McBride, he's out. So McBride and Mitchell Robinson are out. I think that's very important to note. And then with Brunson questionable, so that'll be interesting if he's questionable because maybe it's a lot of Alvarado and whatnot, Kolek maybe. But I think the Knicks. So if they were at full strength and they lost it, I think there's a hangover. So this is where I like betting the Grizzlies first quarter and first half because they're going to come at you. But if it's new blood in the lineup, I think they'll play hard. So I lean Grizzlies first quarter, first half, and even game. I think the Knicks, I don't think they're good enough to just flip the switch. Even against the Grizzlies, they're going to play their tails off. So I guess my big takeaway here is just be careful betting the Knicks here. Just be careful. There is a world where they don't cover.
I agree. And listen, sometimes you bring this up a lot. Listen to what these guys say. You got Hart last night saying there's something wrong with us right now. I mean, there's a lot of chatter here in town about Mike Brown, and this was the wrong move for them. And there's a lot of things swirling with the Knicks here as we get ourselves a little closer to the playoffs. Jern took a Spurs over Celtics exacta on March the 10th. Now that is spicy. We like those, the exactas. I like those a lot. That's a good one, Spurs Celtics. Rooting hard now for Wemby and the crew. Elsewhere, let's go Indiana in Chicago against the Bulls. Bulls -4.5 right now. 247.5. I live for totals like this, Doug.
Is it cheap? Is it too low? Now, I would say it's too high because if I had to play the total, because there's no Nebhard, no Neesmith, no Jarris Walker, Siakam's doubtful, no McConnell either. So
is anyone playing?
It's a lot of Jay Huff starting center, Micah Potter, next stop Potter Smith or whatever that Seinfeld is, Kobe Brown, Ben Shepherd. I think he's from Bellarmine or something.
Goodness.
Like Quentin Jackson might get some run.
You can't play this over now.
So no, I kind of like the Bulls, but I just feel dumb if the Bulls don't cover, even though the Bulls kind of need a win
with that lineup. Wow.
Well, I mean, by the way, Pacers going for the season sweep here, which has not been done in ages. So I think it's Bulls or pass, but just can't do it.
Oh my goodness, that's a tough one tonight with those two getting together. Elsewhere, Hawks and Magic in Orlando for us tonight. Of course, this is part of this big Southeast Division race, right? Hawks
legit.
Hawks -3 on the road. 234 flat is the total.
So first of all, it starts with Orlando. They've been such a headache of a team, and you don't know when. You just don't know what version you're going to get. Are you going to get the one that looks like they can beat any team or the one that is going to lose by 30? Hawks, a little more reliable, especially with both those two guys. Like, that's the key. Daniels and Jalen Johnson are so big in the lineup. And, of course, McCollum. I just love from a macro sense, what Atlanta did for their organization, kind of move on from the Trae Young era and get sort of a modernized, NBA team with just the 3-and-D guy. They're like a really solid team. I don't love Okongwu, but I think they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. Now, the Magic ceiling is really good. Like if this was March Madness in an NCAA tournament, they could make a run because catch lightning in a bottle. But I think best of 7, they're not going to go super deep because they're just too inconsistent. I don't know. This matchup's tough. I think both teams are really good. I would lean over, and I would lean to the home dog.
It is pretty tight there for the Southeast Division as we come down the stretch. The Hornets aren't going away either.
Hang a banner.
It's tough. It's Sixers are laying 14 in DC against the Wizards.
I mean, have you seen the Wizards play lately?
Yeah, I know. I understand.
They're really, really bad. Now, the
239.
Typical the Sixers. Get a big win in Charlotte. The news cycle, first take saying, is this Sixers team legit? And the next game you lose by 10 in Miami. Yep, that seems about right.
That checks. That tracks.
This Wizards team, I mean, now they did have a nail biter at Golden State and one at Utah. Remember they blew them out? But they've just been getting drilled by like 25 in all these games. They're really terrible. So no Trae Young, no Anthony Davis tonight. Just a little update. Doubtful or questionable, Sarr, Koulibaly, Trey Johnson. I'm telling you, it's a lot of Bub Carrington and Jaden Harvey.
Oh, Bub. Getting Bub in there.
A lot of Jaden Harvey.
Any interest in laying 12 with the Raptors against the Kings in Toronto?
I thought about it. I did. But the Kings are coming off another road game. So it's not like their first game. They played Charlotte a couple of weeks ago when they went to start a road trip as their first game there, and they went all the way on the East Coast. But they've been in Brooklyn. They've been in Atlanta. They play hard, all that stuff. I just don't trust Toronto enough to lay this kind of lumber.
I mean, these spreads tonight, honestly.
And it's a back-to-back for Toronto. They were just in Detroit with a heartbreak, tough one.
Bucks are catching 18.5 in Houston tonight.
Well, the problem is the Milwaukee lineup. See, I think Houston kills them. So no Portis, no Gary Harris, but it's a back-to-back. See, I'm mad. I thought we should have been betting Milwaukee yesterday. Sorry. Yeah, Milwaukee yesterday. The spot was so good. They've been trying hard, and they absolutely spanked Dallas. I'm so mad at myself. Now, here in Houston, I like the Bucks first quarter, first half. I think the Rockets fat and happy off the win yesterday. I think that's the play, my friend. A little Bucks team total first quarter.
Bucks team total first quarter.
Remember, they won one for the Gipper yesterday with Doc getting inducted or getting announced that he's going to be a Hall of Famer. They circled the wagon. No one circles the wagons like the depleted Milwaukee Bucks.
The Bucks first quarter team total is 25.5.
I mean, that's low. Gary Trent Jr. could go off. Remember, I talked about Shepard now starting for Houston. He's not that great.
Bucks catching 4.5 in the first quarter.
I mean, they put up 38 yesterday against Dallas. Just Kuzma's back. Turner, who, by the way, my best bet yesterday was almost over 1.5 threes. He was 3 of 6. Jericho Sims, which is not good. Gary Trent Jr. is awesome, and Ryan Rollins is awesome. In their ways, But I mean, to be able to bring Taurean Prince off the bench, that's like what Oak City does. I mean, he's really good for a bench 3-and-D player.
And finally, I mean, these spreads are ridiculous. The Jazz are catching 16.5 at home against the Nuggets. 249.
Okay, can we go back to the last game? I have a bet for you.
Okay, good.
This is like borderline stealing money.
Okay.
You ready for this one?
Give it.
Gary Trent Jr. What would you need for a number to take under his threes? I mean, have you watched any Bucks games? I hope not.
I mean, look, the way you have discussed him recently, I don't see how I could take anything under 4.5.
Right.
I mean, at this
point.
point.
I mean, he was 9 of 15 against the Clippers the other day.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like he's the guy who's got the green light right now with nobody.
And he's good. And he's finally figured it out that he can shoot. So his over-under is 2.5.
Okay. So we alt that to 3.5. Yeah, we go up the ladder.
Just do the over.
Climb the ladder.
And it's against Houston, who's going to be off a big win, not caring much what Shepard's going to guard him, and he just pulls it. Now there is length. So if there's switches and Durant's out there or Eason or Amen Thompson, that's going to be hell, but then they'll just run picks. So I would do him. And if you, maybe a Miles Turner, if he's going to play. I think the question is, we got to see who's confirmed to be playing.
4 plus 3s plus $1.90 at Bet Rivers tonight for Gary Trent Jr.
I think it depends on the supporting cast, but I will say, oh, by the way, Thanasis is ruled out, so I'm sure that changed.
Wow.
Now Rollins downgraded to questionable, so that's
Okay.
still questionable though. Torian Prince out. This is all in the last little bit. So Portis is out. We knew Gary Harris is out, so we knew that. Kuzma's out, man. And then Turner's out. That's why. Okay, what's going on here? Kind of operation this Bucks team's running.
Just to wrap up the NBA tonight, Doug, big picture wise, like this stinks for the league. Like 6 of the 9 games tonight are double-digit spreads, and 5 of those 6 are 14 points or more.
No, it's terrible. I mean, you could say injuries, but what? It's just Giannis. I mean, otherwise, if the other guys are in, if like Turner was in, it'd be like 10.5. It still sucks, right?
Look, I mean, we're in it no matter what because there's always a spread. There's always a way that we can stay involved. But like from like a fan perspective, like this stinks. Like how could you selling this product? It's like, what are we doing here with these games? They're all 14, 15, 16-point spreads. It's nuts. There you go, Doug.
Gary Trent's a banger. He's going to be the only one shooting. I
got to complain about the NBA for tonight. So at least I got that in on the show today. Of course, make sure that when you open up your Bet Rivers app, you go and check out the Bet Rivers Banter. If you're looking for a betting angle, check out the top picks newsfeed in your Bet Rivers app. The Bet Rivers Banter newsfeed is filled with picks from Bet Rivers Network personalities and more handicappers to give you expert insights. Tap the top picks icon in your Bet Rivers app to get the latest tips. There it is, that little logo right there. You get stuff from Doug on there, stuff from me on there every day. It is outstanding. It's a lot of fun. Plenty of other cappers on there too. So make sure. In fact, there's some things that sometimes most of the stuff I bring up here is on there as well. But I know I got my Freddie Freeman homer on there today, Doug, on the Bet Rivers Banter. So
good stuff.
Going a little bit deeper there with that too. It's Dougie Pucks time. You hit the best bet with Carolina last night.
Just got to listen to Carver here.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Flyers got a bad start and they rallied and they just couldn't get it done in the third period. They dug too big of a hole in the game. But only 3 games tonight, including just an absolute banger over tonight. That we have in the NHL.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
Ducks and Sharks, 6.5. It's even, and you get to watch it on TNT. Even better, you get to watch the pond hockey. They have played this season a 7-6 and a 5-4. So they've got a 13 and a 9 in the 2 previous games. Yes, it's a little juice, like minus 130 something for the over 6.5. But Doug, this is the tee it high, let it fly game.
It's worlds joining, not colliding. Because we usually have the late night overs in each of these teams' particular games, but here we are, Sharks, and it's not at the Duck Pond. I guess that would be the only. It's at the tank.
Yeah,
it's at the tank.
It's at the tank.
So yeah, Dougie Pucks came through. I mean, look, Hurricanes were up 2-0. Then it was 2-2, getting a little sweaty. I plopped myself on the couch. We get a little power play goal and then run away with it. So. We
love it. Let's go, baby. Getting involved. Over 6.5 Ducks and Sharks for tonight. And you'll probably hear me talk about it again in about 5 minutes when we do the best bets for tonight. There are only 2 other games. And I know we kind of mentioned that. Now this has gone up even more as the day has gone on. The Canucks are in Colorado tonight. This has now touched 5 bills. Minus 500 for the Avalanche. 6.5 is the total. The Canucks are plus 360 on the money line. Doug, minus 500 for Colorado.
Yeah. NBA, you got your double digits. We got minus 500 hockey.
That's nuts. Now I know the Avalanche.
I mean, we had 2 of these 2 nights ago, right?
Yeah.
We had the Avs against the Flames, and then the Knights with a new coach against these Canucks, and they were down. They came back, won, got the empty netter, I think, with 10 seconds to go.
That
for the puck line, minus 143.
It is bonk. Minus 177 for the puck line on the goal.
All right, then take plus 1.5 if you want it.
Avalanche, I'm sure.
Would you take plus 1.5, plus 177? Let's just put it the other way. Would you take plus 177?
I wouldn't take the Canucks.
So therefore, minus 177 is not a bad number.
It's not. I
mean, we've seen these in the NFL, right? Like week 16, 17, you got, Trey Lance starting, or the other guy from Easton Stick starting against like the Chiefs, and it's 17.5 or something.
I don't usually get involved with, the props and stuff. Like, man, McKinnon's minus 167 to score. I mean, geez. Guy's minus to score a goal, he's minus 167.
What would he be in like the developmental league if he had like an injury, to rehab from, and he had a quick, AAA assignment?
My God. Yeah, probably minus 400. Be what the Avalanche are tonight. There against the Canucks.
I mean, they hung a 9er in their last game against the Flames. So
they did. They certainly did. The other game is Blues and Kings. Have fun if you must in the third game tonight on the NHL schedule. Before we get to the best bets in the Daily Double, Doug, we have the Valero Texas Open teeing off in the morning. Let's go. Our last stop before Augusta. TPC San Antonio is where we will be. And I'll give you a look who's here this week. Oberg's here, Fleetwood's here, Spieth's here. Morikawa did withdraw the other day, so I guess he's not feeling it quite yet. That could be a problem for him next week when we get down Magnolia Lane. I am going with one of the names on that list. It's actually gone down a little bit from this morning. Bobby Mack, Robert McIntyre, now 18-1. So it's moving a bit. The theme this year, Doug, has been guys they've been playing well and getting close. They've been eventually breaking through. McIntyre in 6 starts so far in 2026 has not finished worse than 38th. He has finished in the top 12 the last 3 times out, including a top 5 at the Players. He's an accurate player, which you need to be at TPC San Antonio. He's great around the greens. If we could just get some putting out of him this week, Bobby Mack can get in the winner's circle. So that's my number 1 for this week.
I like it. So it's interesting. I'm just sort of processing what you said. So what's happened, let's say the previous 3 to 5 tournaments about guys playing. So like are you changing sort of how you typically handicap then? Recent form matters more, I guess.
Sometimes I think there's a lot of things that you need to factor in every week when you're trying to pick winners in a golf tournament. And, it seems like this year more than any, how guys have been playing leading into wins has mattered a lot. There really hasn't been too many winners this year where, they've just kind of showed up with some really poor form and won. Now, this is something you should always look at. I'm a big course history guy. I like guys with really good course history at a lot of these events, which that factors in too. There's a lot of things, though, you kind of got to pull from everything. Sometimes McKinnon 2 goals at plus 550, Steve. There you go. That's a big jump from minus 160. But that's kind of where I'm looking. Just look at Woodland last week. He was playing kind of well beforehand.
Right.
Cam Young at the Players. Just Fitzpatrick at the Valspar, how well he played going in. It's been kind of a thing lately for it. And there's another guy on this list, which I'm going to say the same exact thing. Ryo Hizatsune, 35-1. This has also been kind of a year long. He's played well, and he's the guy on my list that he needs to win to get into next week. Ooh. So that's another hard part about this tournament, Doug. Those guys that we showed on the side of the screen, they're at the top of the board, who know they're going to be in Augusta next week. Are they here because they haven't played in a few weeks and just want to get some competitive rounds in, get themselves feeling good before next week? Are they here to actually win? Do you like playing guys like that? Or do you want a guy who's playing for everything to get into Augusta? It's their only chance to get in.
So few questions. Typically before these, is it good to bet? Isn't it like a kiss of, it's not the par 3 contest, but isn't it a kind of a kiss of death to win the tournament week and the next week give them a shot at the Masters?
Just give you the last 5 years as kind of just a little bit of an example. We've had a few guys who needed to win to get into Augusta, which was, Akshay Bhatia 2 years ago needed to do it. JJ Spawn a couple years before that. They did not have Masters tickets, and they played well enough to punch their ticket by winning this tournament. Last year, Brian Harmon won. He was in Augusta. He didn't, he played really well that week. Spieth has won this a couple times in the past. So I think it's a little bit of a mixed bag, Doug, honestly. Now, how that goes for you next week when you do win, I can tell you the guys that usually win that didn't have the Masters ticket don't fare very well the next week at Augusta. These guys that are bigger, more brand names and whatnot, I would think that they do fine.
So Hisatsune.
Okay. Yes.
It reminds me, was it Siwoo Kim or someone during the last Olympics that if he didn't finish or medal, he had to join the army?
That's a South Korean thing. Yes, that is.
So pressure is not necessarily a good thing.
Siwoo had that, and Sunjae Im, and there was a few guys that did have that going in the last Olympics. Yes,
right. So higher stakes. I mean, we've all played golf,
Right.
right? I don't think higher stakes means we're going to play better. I think it's more like carefree.
Well,
I mean, we've all
sure.
we've all made the 40-footer for triple bogey.
Yes, we all have.
Right.
And we'll factor in also Hisatsune, pretty good course history here. He has played well at TPC San Antonio in the past, and he's played well this year as a whole. So that is why I like him here in this spot. I would put him needing to win to get to the Masters probably third or fourth on my list, Doug, of why I'm playing Hisatsune this week. Now, this last guy is just a feel-good story. This Yellow from just outside of Toronto. Sudarshan Yellow, Doug, 50-1 this week. Who is this guy?
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
I can't use it in a sentence, but listen. So this is a young kid from just outside Toronto. He was remember they shown him on the Players. He finished T5 at the Players. He was the one guy out of the mix. They kept showing his shots. It's a hell of a story. Then he finished T6 last week in Houston. Obviously, he would need to win to get into the Masters. What a story that would be. You had an unbelievable story with Gary Woodland last week winning a golf tournament. Can we get this kid, Yellow at 50-1, who's been playing really good golf, to parlay that in here this week at San Antonio? And you'll hear his name. You won't stop hearing his name next week at Augusta if he could pull this off. It'd be a great story. I'm following the narrative, Doug.
Let's do it.
Narrative play.
You got to be part of it. You know, I remember being here and people bet the Knights the first season. I was like, why? They're like, well, I just wanted a collector's item on my fridge or something. You know, you want to be. It's rooting interest. It's like when we were kids buying a baseball card.
I didn't have this guy on my card Monday when I first looked at the odds, and one of my good friends who I talked to and bet golf with, he's like, we got to be on this guy. This is going to be great. He's going to be in it. We're going to want to root for him on Sunday. I was like, all right, you got me in. I'm in on Yellow. So there you go. Him, Hisatsune, and Bobby Mack for the Valero coming up this week. All right, Doug, it's time. The best bets.
So I have a quick question, though, with the hockey.
Go ahead.
You mentioned the 2 goals is +5. Is it sort of like if there's a blowout, do guys not play? Like McDavid's not going to play half the third period.
He'll play.
Right. They have to. They're not deep enough. Right. So why wouldn't you bet 2 +
And
550?
McKinnon's a little bit of and I don't have the stats to back this up. McKinnon he's an empty net merchant. Not that there would be an empty net in this game with it probably being 7-2 in the third period, but he's a good empty net merchant.
Does he pad stats?
I don't know. I would never say McKinnon is an incredible player. I wouldn't say that,
okay.
But some of these guys, look, Ovi does it too. Ovi's got 900 goals. He got a lot of empty net goals in that 900.
Well, I was going to say, he's got the last game they won 9-2 over the lowly Flames. He had 1 goal, 2 assists. So he was hunting.
But he's out there. These guys, this is not a situation where, because also, Doug, like, you can't have your third and fourth liners play 12 minutes in the third period. They're going to drop. Like
that's my question.
You got to still be. It's not like the NBA where you could sit guys in the fourth quarter.
It's +295. I think it's 550.
Steve, that was probably for 4 goals. Steve,
I was going to say the jump from -175. That didn't make sense in my. I was like, wait, is he going to sit the third period? What am I need to know this. Okay.
Sometimes we're rolling, Doug. We got to go with what the chat box puts.
It was April Fool's joke. It was an April Fool's joke from Steve.
3 goals. The hat trick is 12-1 tonight.
Okay, now
blast with that this evening.
Did you have the LeBron triple-double the other night?
I did. No.
A zillion
Could we get the Wemby quadruple double on national TV tonight to solidify the MVP? We get a number on that.
Award. I already have it screenshotted and saved that the guy who told me a month ago that it's over when I put out a video saying it's not. He's like, it's over. SGA.
It's not over.
File away. Receipts.
I think we know where I'm going here. Best bets in the Daily Double. It is tee it high, let it fly night at the Shark Tank. The Ducks and the Sharks are together. Overs both times they've played this year. We love them for the late night overs. Over 6.5. Ducks and Sharks at the Tank.
Yeah, I guess what's your reasoning that the goalies stink and the offenses want to get after it?
It's a combination of neither team has great goaltending, and for whatever reason, you get these two teams together and they play fast-paced, high-scoring games. And that's their style. That's what they do. And when you put them out there together, magic happens, Doug. So hopefully we get magic.
Styles make fights.
Another 7-6 game for them.
By the way, I don't see a triple-double for Wemby. I see a double-double, which is -625 if you're so inclined.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm going to do it. The Bucks game, all these guys are out. Rollins is questionable. I shouldn't say he's out, but Turner's out. Kuzma's out. Harris is out. Portis is out. So it's going to be Gary Trent early and often, over 2.5 threes. And look at me, I'm moving the mark. I can't lock in a best bet during when I talked about it 10 minutes ago. It was 130 when I talked about it 10 minutes ago. I'm moving markets here.
You are. Gary Trent Jr. over 2.5 made threes, along with the over 6.5 in the Sharks and the Ducks. Gets us to, whoa, does that say plus 185?
All right.
Oh,
now,
that's one of our might have to throw the Freeman homer in at plus 440 to bust us up here.
Hold on. Let's Costanza.
Hold this up, Doug.
Back it up.
It up to 4.
Beep. Yeah. What do we got here for alt on Trent?
Max is gonna kill us.
Is it? I don't even see it.
Plus.
It's not offered.
Plus. We gotta have. He had it up there before.
Oh, there it is. It's going the other way. Plus 163. So
I'm sorry, Max.
So
Max is
so I've hit 4 in a row, and I'm gonna have to do a Carver heat check.
You're gonna have to do a heat check because look at what we've done now. Sharks and Ducks over 6.5 with Gary Trent Jr. 4+ made threes plus 358, and now we're smoking here. That is a nice.
But the morning show, doesn't it do like closer to what we had with the plus 185?
I think I've seen them at like minus 105 for their daily double together. So we would have to do like Sharks Ducks alt over 5.5 with Gary Trent to get that.
All right, let's do it. Let's do Trent plus.
We stick our neck out once in a while here, Doug. We
do
it once in a while, so we'll do it tonight. We think that Trent's going to go on fire, so we're plus 358 for the daily.
Udoka's going to be so mad in the first quarter when he does it on back-to-back possessions.
Doug, tremendous job as always. We'll see you back tomorrow, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific. Lots of NBA, NHL. Got the NIT tomorrow night at the Fieldhouse, so make sure we'll be talking about that as well. Great job by Chris Macero as well with his final 4 picks for this weekend. Mike Carver, Doug Kezirian, Betting Weekly Live. Enjoy the games tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.